A swarm of unidentified drones locked onto a Coast Guard vessel off the Jersey coast, tracking every move it made. Is the government telling the truth? A strange creature wandered into a Texas woman's backyard, and no one, not even zoo experts, can say for sure what it was. And in one of the UK's most haunted homes, a ghost hunter captured what looks like the robed arm of a phantom monk. These are real photos that defy logic and scientists can't explain. What you're looking at here is a mysterious drone swarm that Coast Guards in New Jersey caught trailing their ship back in December. Not sure if you're all aware, but this was during a huge wave of weird drone sightings in the area. A Coast Guard crew was patrolling the Atlantic near New Jersey when they noticed that they were being followed by drones. One of the crew stated, "We were out there to see if we could spot any drones because of all these sightings. Well, we found some drones, or more accurately, they found us." The drones appeared out of nowhere around 9 p.m. and stuck with the boat for about 15 minutes. Even when the vessel changed course, the drones followed. The crew member went on to say, "Commercial airplanes don't move like that. We've been out on the water when planes were coming in for landings in New York, and trust me, you can tell the difference. We're not idiots. We know what drones look and sound like." Then the drones banked left toward the shoreline and disappeared. When asked about it, White House spokesman John Kirby gave the usual government answer, which was basically nothing to see here. "We assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and even stars that were mistakenly reported as drones." He also said the Coast Guard likely mistook airliners for drones. The guardsman was not having this. He doesn't pretend to know what they were exactly, but he's clear on one thing. They, quote, "weren't the types of drones you can buy at the store. These were government drones." Tina Kalig was just looking out her window in Hill Country Village, Texas, when she spotted something weird walking through her yard. She had no idea what she was looking at. "I was inside and I looked out in the yard and saw an animal right here and thought, wow, what is that?" she said. "It was moving slowly, sniffing around, and then stopped to eat berries off the ground before vanishing." Tina was able to snap a few photos and shared them online with the caption, "Unusual creature in my yard, what is it?" She was hoping someone in the neighborhood had an answer. Some said it looked like a mangy dog, others thought maybe a coyote with some sort of skin disease. A few brought up a local legend about an old mountain lion that's supposedly roamed the area for years, and several people said it looked like a chupacabra, but nobody had a definitive answer. And even experts from the local zoo were just throwing out their best guesses. Back in 2016, ghost hunter Claire Cowell claimed she captured one of the clearest photos ever taken of the infamous Black Monk of Pontefract. The photo was taken inside 30 East Drive in Pontefract, West Yorkshire, widely known as one of the most haunted houses in the UK. Claire said the image shows the, quote, "arm of a ghostly figure in a monk's robe clutching rosary beads." She believed it was none other than the violent spirit said to haunt the house. That night, things had already been strange, too. Claire said, "We'd seen marbles being thrown and we kept hearing taps and bangs," end quote. It was around 11 p.m. Most of the team had left and she went into the kitchen alone. "I heard a tap in the hallway at the bottom of the stairs. I took a photo, but I couldn't see anything," she explained. But once she reviewed the image, she noticed the arm. The arm you can see in the photo is not a solid form. It looks like mist. Now, it's kinda hard to tell here, but in the photo, you will notice a mirror on the wall behind the supposed ghostly arm. Based on the position of the figure, you would expect to see a reflection if something was standing there, but there isn't, so that's kinda eerie too. The photo was later confirmed by the home's owner, Bill Bungay, as the most compelling image of the Black Monk he'd ever seen. This isn't the only creepy picture taken in this notoriously haunted home, though. This is another eerie photo taken at 30 East Drive. Ghost hunter Pete Bolton captured what looks like a ghostly figure staring out from a mirror, right in the spot where the infamous Black Monk is said to appear, and the same spot the ghostly arm was photographed. Pete from Manchester took the photo during a ghost hunt and didn't realize what he'd caught until later. "I began taking photos like I usually do at a new location. I was snapping away at random at the house, not anything in particular," he said. One of the shots came out unusually dark, so Pete brightened it up on his computer, and that's when he noticed something strange. "I noticed there was a weird shape in the mirror. No one from the group was downstairs at the time, so it couldn't have been anyone from the group. What he saw was this ghoulish-looking figure, clear enough that when he showed it to others without even saying anything, they saw what he did. Pete said at the time that he didn't claim it was proof of the paranormal, but he also didn't dismiss it outright. The mirror sits right near the stairs where a girl named Diane Pritchard, who used to live in the home, was reportedly dragged by some invisible force back in the 60s. In August of 1992, hotel workers in Pitlarky, Scotland were out hiking when they saw something hanging in the sky. It was a massive diamond-shaped object, completely silent, just floating there in the sky. Then a military jet flew by. One of the men had a camera and took 6 photos before the object shot off at high speed. They gave the pictures to the Daily Record newspaper, but the paper passed them straight to the Ministry of Defense. After that, the photos vanished. The public never saw them until 32 years later, when a retired Royal Air Force press officer named Craig Lindsay revealed that he'd kept a copy. It's a pretty amazing image, exactly as described. You see a metallic craft with a jet flying in the background. There were no signs of editing, no wires, nothing that screamed that it was fake. Nick Pope, who ran the UK's UFO desk at the Ministry of Defense, said this was one of the most compelling cases that he'd ever seen. The object didn't match any known military design. It could be a classified US aircraft, but if that's true, no one had ever come forward with proof. The original negatives are still missing. The Ministry of Defense's official files on the case were supposed to be released, but they extended the secrecy order until 2072. Reddit user Daddy Sprinkle shared this image here. Do you notice anything? Aside from the guy standing in the picture, obviously, there's a figure crouching in the grass behind the man. Thing is, nobody knows what this figure is. The Reddit user said the picture was taken by his father's girlfriend while they were hiking in the Rocky Mountains, Colorado. The image shows his dad standing outdoors, seemingly alone, but when they looked closer, they spotted the odd figure in the background. What's extra odd is how short the thing seems to be, and the grass is not very tall. According to Daddy Sprinkle, no one was around when the photo was taken. His dad had just come from the area where the figure is, and he said that it was completely empty. His girlfriend also said she didn't see anyone standing behind him at the time. And if you think this is just some glitch of the camera, well, we do have some movement. This was a live iPhone photo, meaning it also captured a short video clip. Take a look at this. Now we see the things slightly shifting from left to right. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but the figure does have a certain alien type quality about it, doesn't it? It's the squatness of it. Kind of reminds me of E.T. Paul and Evelyn Trent lived in a small farm just outside McMinnville, Oregon. One evening in May of 1950, Evelyn saw something shiny in the sky and called out to Paul. He grabbed his camera and took 2 photos of what looked like a metallic disc flying through the air. A few weeks later, their local newspaper ran the photos, and then Life magazine picked them up. From there, it became one of the most talked about UFO sightings in the United States. Kodak analysts checked the negatives and found no signs they'd been tampered with. And remember, these were the days long before digital editing was even a thing. The lighting and shadows were also consistent with the time of day the Trents claimed to have taken them. Skeptics have tried for decades to explain this away, saying it might have been a thrown pie tin or a model on a string, but no one's ever recreated the photos in a convincing way. The Trents didn't profit from the attention either, and they never changed their story. Even into old age, they stuck to what they said they saw. Notice anything strange about this image? What if we zoom in a little? Well, that's strange, isn't it? Reddit user solid_ace6 shared this image saying that the photo comes straight from NASA's own website. It was taken long before things like Starlink satellites were even around. Clearly, we can see 5 silvery, circular-shaped objects lined up in space just beyond Earth. Judging by how big they look next to the planet, whatever they are, they're pretty big too. So what are these things? I have no idea. I can't find any info on this image beyond this post. So what do you all think? Share your thoughts down below. Starting in the early 80s, people living in the Hessdalen Valley in central Norway began reporting strange lights in the sky. They were glowing orbs, sometimes white, sometimes yellow or red. They'd hover, shoot across the valley, or slowly drift along the mountains. They'd appear randomly, day or night, and sometimes stick around for over an hour. Locals saw them so often that people actually stopped thinking it was weird at all. It just became part of the landscape. Scientists got involved in 1983 when a group of researchers from Unsolved University set up a project aptly named Project Hessdalen. They brought in proper gear, cameras, radar, and electromagnetic sensors, and they did catch the lights. What they found was that the lights didn't behave like any known aircraft or natural weather phenomena. Some would split in two or suddenly disappear, others would shoot upward at impossible speeds. The radar showed solid objects too, not just energy or reflections. They also analyzed the area and found elevated levels of rare elements like scandium, which isn't usually found there. Some theories say the lights are plasma caused by maybe a rare reaction between the minerals in the valley and underground water, but they can't fully explain why this seems to only happen in this part of the world. The lights are still being seen today, not as often as they were in the 80s, but still seen. There's a permanent observatory in the valley now, running 24/7, but after over 4 decades, nobody has a clear answer. In late August of 1951, 3 science professors from Texas Tech, Dr. W.L. Ducker, Dr. A.G. Oberg, and Dr. W.I. Robinson, were sitting outside one evening when they saw this string of glowing lights flying across the sky in a tight V shape. The lights were bluish-white, totally silent, and moving very fast. The formation looked too precise to be birds, and a few days later, 18-year-old Carl Hart Jr., a student at the college, managed to take 5 photos of these lights. His pictures were sent to the Air Force and eventually became part of Project Blue Book. They didn't dismiss the case, but their best guess was that it might have been birds reflecting streetlights, but even they admitted Hart's photos didn't match that theory. They couldn't reproduce the effect. People kept seeing the lights for weeks. They always moved in formation. Multiple witnesses described the same kind of motion. The professors gave statements and held on to their version of events. None of them changed their story. The Air Force never reached a solid conclusion, and it's one of the few cases from that era they left open. Well, with all that said, I've been your host, James. I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.